beautiful, isn't it? I know. And you know what? It's powerful as well. Chef kiss. Chef kiss. The first thing I want to talk about is the setup. So off camera I did grounding, centering and meditation to get into the right space to do this spell. I also prepare my environment. Now this means that I will take all of the art supplies I have and just put them in front of me, because I never really know what the painting is gonna look like. I just want to have everything in hand. This is super chaotic, but it really helps the creative process of this spell. That also means that you don't need to worry about messing up or how it's supposed to look, or if it looks like the vision you have in your mind, because you have no vision in your mind. So this painting is for a dear friend of mine, and I knew I wanted to get her essence and her energy captured in this painting. So the only things I knew about this painting were, first, the colors black, dark green, dark red and blue, because it represents her the best. I also knew I wanted to have a naked, beautiful woman. Then the topic of this spell is protection, especially spiritual protection. So these were the ground pillars, you could say, of this painting. So this might be a bit weird in the beginning, but I would encourage you to really listen to your intuition. It's like tapping into the flow of creative energy and letting it tell you what happens next. When I paint for witchcraft, I like to get into a state where I'm not thinking at all. No thoughts, just painting, just feeling, just movement. And because my head is very chaotic and very loud, I love to listen to music while doing this. Now, I link a playlist in the info box below of music I listen to while doing this piece and doing other pieces. I'm sure it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it really helps me. And sometimes I get so lost in the painting and the music process that my body starts moving on its own. And I know this is the perfect state of being to do these paintings, because you really are tapped into the creative energy and the energy around you, and just letting it guide you through the art process. I decided to use purple glitter. It fits her personality well to be extra and shiny. I use dark purple because it corresponds with spiritual power, psychic abilities and connection to your higher self. The first painting is a painting of the bodification of a protective spirit, you could say. It's a woman with wings coming out of her face, or instead of her facial features, with 100 eyes faithfully watching. It also has a power aspect to it because it looks so intimidating. I will link the reference picture in the info box as well. In the step before, I created the green borders to encourage harmony between the different planes of existence. And on the borders, I glued beetles as a lucky charm, but also as a symbol for strength and personal power to stand very strong when times get difficult. And they hover above the border, flying and keeping eye and watching over the different planes and the borders of the spiritual world and the mundane world. So painting on the newspaper really didn't work. So I decided to paint the woman on this very beautiful rose paper I have. The woman itself is a symbol for confidence, divine femininity and power, a symbol to give strength and guidance and warmth. She's holding the moon to bring safety and guidance and to be a connection to the magical and spiritual world. It was really important to have a womanly figure on this painting, and I think the one I choose captures the energy of the person this painting is for very well. The rose paper and the roses are a symbol for balance and a softness, like a soft protection. That's also why this woman is embedded in soft and soothing protection, symbolized by the rose petals that are lined around her. I did this off camera because it was a very important part of the spell. In this part of the spell, I also drew lots of eyes. Eyes is, for me, always such a strong protection symbol because they see everything that happens, and while seeing, they already go into the protection mode and like an observer, you know. Each eye has a sigil as its iris. Most of them are blind because they don't need sight. Like normal sight can also be potentially distracting when it comes to the spiritual world and magical world. I painted the eyes red to make them kind of raw in power, you could say. And then I went over some of them with gold to have a more stable source of power. I didn't like the white background at a point, so I decided to paint a pattern over it, but that didn't feel right either. So I painted the other side to balance it out in some way. Now this is the point where mental block hits. This happens sometimes, and in this case it was because this is a different day, and on that day I decided to not listen to music, and I also didn't meditate before because when I usually draw, I listen to podcasts I really like. So I decided, well, you know what? I will listen to a podcast for this as well. But magic really doesn't work this way. So I was listening to the podcast, and because of that, I was not tuned into the right energy. And my creative process just stopped right there in its tracks. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't come up with anything. I just knew I didn't like what was going on. But I couldn't change it because nothing came, nothing was telling me anything, you know. So I sat there and decided to switch to music again, ground and center again, and tap into the creative energy. And once I did, I immediately knew what I had to do. I just painted over it. If you look closely, you can even see that the pattern shines through the painting. Then I was called to just draw more eyes. This usually happens when I draw protection paintings. In this case, the eyes are meant to glow out of the dark, which sounds a bit creepy, but it's meant to signify that protection is glowing in the background, even if you don't see it. And even if times look a bit difficult or dark, that they are always there. I decided to put more beetles around the borders. Now I wanted to finish the last steps of this spell, but I couldn't concentrate because of all the clutter. In this step I created sigils. One was a personal protection sigils to protect mind and spirit of the person this painting is for. The other one functions as a tag log, so the spell knows exactly who it's meant to protect. I did both the creating and the painting of the sigils in private, obviously. Now, in the last step, I did the frame. I got this frame in second hand. It comes from old West Germany, and it survived for 50 years just to get broken by me. The painting inside are dandelions made in the 80s, And because of its history, I cleansed it beforehand so it wouldn't interfere with the energy of the painting. I decided to paint the background the painting will be resting on. I decided for a bigger frame so that the painting had enough space to breathe. This piece took me around 7 to 8 hours, and making an 8-hour spell is super draining. I definitely took multiple naps in between, and it also showed me that I really need to work on staying grounded the whole time to not drain my energy. If you want to do this yourself, I would advise to start small and see how it affects your energy levels, because it can really drain you. This was a deep dive and deep analysis of a painting protection spell and how this could look like. I hope this kind of helped you in a way to organize or structure your own art spell. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. It was super fun, super draining, but still super fun, and I loved how it turned out. And I know the person I painted this for was very, very happy. So yeah, see you soon with more art videos. I'm so excited. It will be great. So much creative energy. I love it. Bye bye.